A little over a year ago, I made a video where I talked about how I thought that Project Natal and Sony Wand would do badly. Now, I was planning on remaking this video, but I decided that I needed to address one of my main points in a separate video. Now, in my original video about a year ago, I said that the PlayStation 4, Xbox 720, and whatever the next Nintendo console will be, will all launch around 2012. That's probably the single thing that most people had a problem with in that video. So I thought I should probably take a separate video to explain it, because it'll probably take a couple minutes, and I don't really want to put this into my main video, because it would just make the video too long. So, there are a couple reasons that I think the next generation of consoles will happen around 2012. First of all, just look at the history of game consoles. But let's focus on PlayStation. The PlayStation 1 launched at the very end, right before Christmas, at the very end of 1994. 6 years later, in 2000, the PlayStation 2 came out. So 94 to 2000, 6-year difference. And 2000 to 2006, 2006 PlayStation 3 came out. Again, about a 6-year time frame. So far, there's always been a 6-year difference between the launch of one PlayStation console and its successor. So if you take 2006, which is when the PlayStation 3 came out, and you add 6 years to that, you get 2012. That's where I get 2012 from. Besides that, most analysts are predicting about that time frame for the next generation consoles, just because it makes more sense that way. Because by that time, most people will have the current gen consoles. Most people probably already do. And they'll have owned them for a couple years and they'll be willing to move on. So when a company realizes that people are willing to spend money on a new console, they're going to make a new console because they want money. Now, a couple of the complaints people have with my logic I'm going to address really quick is, first of all, a lot of Sony fanboys are saying that Sony has a 10-year life cycle, which shows that most people saying that probably aren't very old. Because if you were around when the PlayStation 2 launched, if you were gaming, you know what a 10-year life cycle means. It doesn't mean that there won't be another console in 10 years. It just means that games will be coming out for the console in 10 years. For example, the PlayStation 2 has a 10-year life cycle, at least. Probably a little more. It launched in 2000, and now in 2010, 10 years, there's still games coming out for it. That's all that a 10-year life cycle means. It doesn't mean that there won't be another console in 10 years. It just means that if you own the old console, there'll still be new games coming out for it. Although the only games coming out for it are like Madden, and I think that's about it. And maybe a couple really bad shovelware games that are made for like $10. Alright, but you get the point. So when Sony says that PlayStation 3 is going to have a 10-year life cycle, all that means is, it launched 2006, so in 2016, there'll still be games coming out for it. It doesn't mean that there won't be another PlayStation by then. There probably will be. But if you own a PlayStation 3 in 2016, you'll still be able to buy probably Madden 2016 for it. So that's all the 10-year life cycle means. Like I said, if you had been gaming back when the PlayStation 2 came out, you would have realized that by now. And really, if you look at the history of all game consoles, it tends to be about a 4 to 6 year break in between one generation and another. Going all the way back about as far as the first game consoles. So, another big point that people like to bring up is that people think that, especially if Project Natal or Kinect, people think that it's the next Xbox. People think that Kinect is the next Xbox. And some people think that Move is the next PlayStation 2, but I don't hear that one quite as often. But look, that doesn't make any kind of sense the more you think about it. For example, with Kinect, it doesn't have the power of a next-generation console. Think about it. It doesn't improve the graphics at all. It doesn't improve the format, it doesn't really improve the online, it's just a new controller, it's an add-on. But especially with Sony, it's really obvious, because think about it. Every time Sony releases a console, they introduce a new disc format. They tend to make the online better, or for PlayStation 2, they made the online exist. PlayStation 3, they made the online better, and of course, they make the graphics way better. The Move doesn't do any of that. I mean, I guess you could kind of say it's a new format, but not really, because motion controllers already exist. And it definitely doesn't improve the graphics, and it doesn't improve the online. So it's not a new console, it's only an add-on. And that you'll see in my video, that leads into another reason that I don't think Natal or Kinect and Move will do that well. But that's for the next video. So those are the main reasons that people bring up when they say that I'm wrong. Basically, my old video, the reason I addressed this is because I got a ton of comments of people saying that the PlayStation 3 won't come out in PlayStation 4 won't come out in 2012. And again, I'm not 100% sure it'll be 2012, but it'll be like 2011, maybe the end of 2011, maybe the beginning of 2013, but it'll be in that time frame. Because that's the same amount of time that it took Sony to make all their other consoles. Like I said, from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 is 6 years. PlayStation 2 to 3, 6 years. PlayStation 3 to 4 puts us at 2012. Like I said, maybe the end of 2011 if they want to get a jump on Microsoft. And maybe the beginning of 2013 if they're willing to wait a little longer. Just keep recapping everything that I've said. A 10-year life cycle, it does not mean that there won't be another console in 10 years. That's not what it ever meant. Okay, and I believe that PlayStation 3 will have a 10-year life cycle, but it's important that you understand what that means. And then, the third point is that it doesn't make any kind of sense to think that Kinect or Move will be the next generation console. They're just not powerful enough and they don't do enough new stuff. They're only add-ons. So that means that the next generation consoles have gotta be coming pretty soon. Because you can tell that the big companies are all experimenting with new technology to see what they can do. That concludes my video.